What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another McTako podcast. It has been a minute.
Too long.
It has been a minute.
Apologies.
But I have TaKo with me, as always, with McTako. Last night, we went to Jones.
Right.
And shot a video. And at the end, we were thinking, man, we haven't done a McTako in a while. We need to do that. We should do a Worlds recap.
Yes.
What better place to do a Worlds recap than where the champion of MPO was crowned? Right over there.
Here. So sick.
Yeah, like 321 feet that way.
Yeah, huge shout out to Country Club, Emporia Country Club.
Yes.
Chris, who's the manager out
Eric.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, Eric gave him a call late last night, and Chris has done so much for disc golf.
Yes.
Here at the Emporia Country Club that huge shout out to Chris. Thanks, bud.
Yes, thank you, Chris, for letting us come out early. It's early, as you could tell from the smoke on the water. It just looks so gorgeous out here. The sun's coming up. TaKo has a hoodie on. We both have pants on.
Yeah.
It's 59 degrees outside right now.
Yeah.
So it's not cold. It's what I would call perfect.
Yeah, and for me, like sweatshirt and pants is like typical anyways. So, and it's that time of year. I'm super stoked to get some hoodies back in the
Oh
works.
my gosh, I'm so excited to get long sleeves.
Yeah.
I love summer. I don't want to be cold. I want that happy medium.
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
But anyway, let's just dive right into this World Championships.
Oh my gosh.
So TaKo, tell me, what did you do throughout the week? I saw you like once the entire week.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
What was on your agenda? You hosted a couple players. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I since driving the RV, obviously I'm not going to be running an event here while the World Championships going on. So I parked the RV at the Emporia Country Club, and a lot of people see that on coverage right off the first hole. And then I was basically hosting Emerson Keith and his manager Fernando Leal.
Yeah, old Fern.
So good old Fern. Fern's great worker. Of course, Emerson. A lot of people know who Emerson is, and we've had a relationship for probably like when I started as team manager a few years ago, and it's kind of just stuck. I think Emerson's one of those players, probably like a lot of other players out there, that are just, I think, not enough people know, just what he could do in the disc golf world. But anyways, hosting him and Fern's always a good time, and just kind of hung out with them. I did my best to do U-disc every day for Emerson's card.
Yeah.
Because, I just didn't want to deal with the badges and stuff like that, because PDGA has been really strict. Even Disc Golf Pro Tour has been really strict with access. Totally understandable. So I made sure that I was part of that U-disc crew, and
So you
no
had
problems.
not a spectator badge, but you probably had a team support badge?
I had a player support badge that Emerson gave me. If somebody else wanted that, though, I totally would have given that up, because as a U-discer, you still get to get on
you still get
the
access.
card. So if you guys learn how to do U-disc, and
my buddy Chad from Canada, Chad Smoliak.
Oh yeah, Chad.
He did the live U-disc for FPO and MPO lead cards every single day. So he came down from Canada and just wanted to take in the action. What better place than knocking out OB strokes or putts, circle ones, and all that fun stuff. So that was pretty cool that he was able to do that.
Chad owns like Top Link, I believe it's called.
No, he's a Team DD guy.
Team DD, but okay.
From Kamloops, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I designed a course up there for their club at. It's called MacArthur Island, but we call it EMac Island. It's just a little. It's a par 3 course. I think there may be it's a par 3 course, but it's such a fun little layout. It's on an old golf course, like an executive style par 3 golf course. So
nice. I like
property's
those.
a little small, but it's beautiful. But
okay.
So you got out, you did U-disc, so you got to see some action.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was very fortunate enough to get a media badge.
Yeah.
And I was out there taking photos pretty much the entire week, with the exception of like 2 days, I think.
Yeah.
2 of the days I ended up walking around with Terry, the disc golf guy, shout out.
Yeah, let's go.
Doing like on-course commentary with him.
I heard that.
A couple
That was
times,
excellent.
which I thought was a lot of fun. Putting in some knowledge of local areas, the course, things going on. What my mind was going through my mind when I was designing a particular hole.
Right.
Those kind of things. I was there. I was pretty much at the golf course every day from probably about 8 o'clock until the lead card was done every single day, except Friday during the block party, I had to bail early to go get discs to take them downtown to set up shop. But every other day I was there.
Yeah,
it was
10 hours.
Yeah, it was awesome to
6 or
sit
7
there
days.
on the bleachers over on 18.
Yeah.
The final day, and just watch groups come in, take some photos of them.
Yeah.
See Kristin win her title.
Let's go, Kristin.
I
Boom.
mean,
That's world champion just play.
you had to pick her to win this. Like,
Yeah. Well,
the year she's having,
Yeah.
not out of the top 3, like, it's insane.
With injury, I want to say there was some stuff that kind of happened earlier in the year with, I'm sure Champions Cup's kind of leaning or,
Lingering in her
lingering
back of her head.
over her, because that was a huge title that was right there towards the end. But this shot, if it was round 2, maybe you had a chance to catch her. But,
Yeah.
After round 3, round 4, I think everybody had a good idea that she was just
Her and Hannah were
unstoppable.
going pretty close. They were battling. I think there was like a 2 or 3 stroke swing on a hole. May have even been 17, but after that, it was just
Hannah
like
3-putt maybe.
Yeah, the wind went out of her sail, and it was over at that point.
Yeah.
Like Kristin is just, and here's the thing. I think on both sides, you don't need to get aggressive out here.
No.
On these courses, if you're keeping it in the fairway, in the middle of the fairway, you're probably scoring. Like every time that you put the disc in bounds, you're probably going to have a birdie look.
Yeah,
it's
it
when
gives
you
you
get
a lot better
aggressive.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's when you get aggressive and try to have an easier approach into the green is when you start to have those issues of OB, bringing OB into play. As the further you go down the fairway, the more holes pinch occasionally. So there's a lot that goes into it. So there's a lot to be said for that player that's just, for the FPO division, throwing 340-foot shots down the middle of the fairway. Maybe not even 340.
Yeah, I
just
don't even...
down the middle. Like her drives were on a handful of holes a lot shorter than everybody else in her group.
Yep.
Granted, Hannah, Evelina, those girls, Holland, those girls all just mash drives.
They're throwing far, like
very far.
We went and I was able to caddy for you for GK Pro
the GK Skins. Shout out GK Pro.
Get a chance to go watch that. It's the doubles, and I was watching Kat Murch. I feel like is a great up and coming player to kind of mention that she was putting the move.
Oh my gosh.
On some of these shots.
So 2 shots I want to talk about with her is the tee shot on hole, was it 14, over the water, when we played from the MPO pad. That shot was insane. And then her
she smushed that.
Her second
2,
shot on hole 16, over the tall grass, the flagpole hole, was like, where their position was, I would question going from there.
I mean, she was 400 plus feet.
It was
from the
huge.
basket.
Yes.
To clear the long grass on that hole,
Yes.
it was like not that far, 350, but still the trust that you have to put. And right now, I feel like her whip.
Yeah.
Her pull through is just really clean, so she's getting some
mashing.
distance for sure. But
she's mashing.
Carly's my wife. Whoever doesn't know, whatever. But Carly and I were talking about how these courses are 100% like risk reward type courses. All week, I was listening to people, whether it be on Emerson's card or whether it be somebody else playing throughout the MPO or FPO divisions that were mentioning, I was out of bounds by an inch, and like all my out of bounds for the last 2 days would add up to maybe a foot and out of bounds. So I was like, well, the times that I'm watching people go inches out of bounds is when they're trying to get that extra little bit.
Get aggressive.
Trying to get that extra little bit. And, honestly, I always think about it this way. If you're out of position on your tee shot, especially out of bounds, dude, you just got to get up and down.
Yeah.
And, trying to score from out of position that's what these courses are like. Yeah, you're out of position, go for it.
Yeah.
It's just right there.
Go for the green, no big deal. It's super easy.
And then here you go. You're adding up strokes and, unnecessary ones. So
absolutely right. So let's break down a couple of the courses. Well, both of the courses eventually, but Jones. Let's talk about Jones first. We made a couple small tweaks at Jones, mainly the
changes from Dynamic Disc Open.
From the Dynamic Discs Open, mainly the main thing was the numbering. Like after you play hole 7, the flow. I think that helped a little bit. It made 1 long walk instead of 2 not long, but moderately long walks, I guess. But I thought the flow was great. I was excited with that. I was very happy with how the course is played.
Yeah.
By the way, the conditions all week, as I'm sure you guys have heard, were phenomenal.
This is not Kansas
Absolutely
golf.
Phenomenal weather. And that's, you've been here in the summer. That's pretty typical around here. In August,
summertime.
it's just hot and steamy and muggy and gross. That's going to be anywhere. That's going to be about anywhere you go.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's places that are just absolutely beautiful, but yeah. So, conditions were great. I thought the courses played exceptionally well. Matter of fact, I predicted the MPO score.
You did.
On GK Skins match. They asked me what I thought the pros were. Now, I thought it'd be Ricky that won.
You did.
I did pick the number. I was way off on FPO because I wasn't
20
thinking
strokes.
right.
I said 18.
I said 18, and I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking.
Relative, though, to kind of where the majority, I would say, of players are, because at a certain point, the scoring separation was just unreal.
Oh, it was.
Between first and 10th place, it was like 20 strokes.
Yeah.
So, you know,
it was up in Kristin. I should have known that she's just going to come out and slay. But no, I was very happy with how the courses played. Most of the feedback I've heard from players, I don't know, maybe they're just don't want to tell me what they truly feel, or
right.
it's the fans, the people online that I've seen that think it's just boring, it sucks, we should never host a Worlds, blah, 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 the list goes on. I'll address that later, but the thing about the course is hole 1 at Jones, I personally think it's a good island. I think it's a good starting hole.
Right.
I listened to, I don't know whose it was. I think it was Brody and one of those foundation guys.
Oh, the grip locked?
I don't know what it was. They were talking about hole 1. They hate hole 1. They love hole 1. They hate it as a starting hole, which I understand. I can understand that because people want to rip drives off hole 1 and the crowd, you want to see the crowd get pumped. But, you know, the thing about hole 1 is, or Jones rather, it's never going to be a course we end at.
Right.
This venue will always be that course. You know, and coming down the stretch. And I think the scoring separation on hole 1 is great, and maybe we will look at tweaking it in the future and play like, I got to thinking in my head, what could we do? We could have hole 3 be hole number 1, right there in the middle of the course, kind of over the water shot, and then you could finish on hole 2, because that's the thing with courses. Just because it's not a good hole 1, 18's got to be a good separator as well, and I think hole 2 at Jones is a decent separator as well. So
yeah, it's a tough shot.
So maybe that's something we'll look at doing in the future. Who knows? Maybe next year we're looking at moving the day to the Dynamic Discs Open. I don't know. Maybe we're looking at only utilizing one course next year for Dynamic Discs Open. Who knows? You know.
Yeah.
The whole, you know, when we put the bid in for Worlds, was what a lot of people don't know also is we put this bid in for last year. We were awarded the bid for 2021.
Yep.
And Utah was supposed to be 2020. Well, when COVID hit, that year was canceled, so everything got pushed back a year. So that's kind of the reasoning why we hosted the Worlds this year. But we wanted to just do one course.
Okay.
You know, we proposed it to be, hey, let's just do one course. You could put all your focus into it.
Yeah.
You could dress it up. You could do a lot of fun stuff. You can make the course look really good. And I mean, obviously, there's issues with that with the B pool. You know, you'd have to turn people away. There's a lot of things that really do go into it. So we agreed, and I'm happy with Jones. I think Jones is fun. We played it last night. We played the FPO layout last night, and it was a blast. That was the first time either one of us had played it. But Jones is, and maybe I'm a homer because it's my course. I literally grew up in that park.
Yeah.
You know, and the people online that are saying that it's just Heiserville out here have never been here, because
it's really not, though.
You don't see these rolling hills out here like at all.
Yeah.
There's definitely some elevation change. It's not just Heiser putt, because if it is, I'll be honest, if it was Heiser putt, then we would have had two things: more people in contention at the end with these conditions. Yeah. And people would have been shooting 16, 17 under
I was going to say, look, if you want to see Heiser putt, or even just Heiser putt, you can still go watch Memorial coverage. Because that's literally like 17 Heisers. Mm-hmm. I don't even know, like, I've played out there and I scored well, and I'm not that good when it comes to just like throw a stock Heiser.
Not that good?
Yeah, throw a stock Heiser, make a putt. Yeah. Right? But I remember the one time I went out there to watch that event, and I think I was practicing the course with some of the people. I was like, oh my gosh, this is super stock golf. And really, like, you shouldn't complain. If it's a birdie or die course, okay, so I got to say something real quick, because this is what kills me. We're older guys, so I think our mentality of like how you attack a course and how to score on a course changes from some of these other kids.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, so a lot of people just want to throw crushes and score. I get that. Everybody should want to do that. I think the difference is that if you're not executing that, then all of a sudden it becomes the course's fault, the TD's fault, and whoever's involved with the actual course and tournament itself. It doesn't become like, I'm not executing a simple game plan or a game plan that's required for this event.
Yeah.
So let's think of De La Viega.
Love De La.
I think the first time I played De La,
I played a Worlds at De La.
right? It's a great, let's just look at the individual holes, right? Because the walking around De La, in my personal opinion, I don't like it. I don't like crisscrossing through fairway. I don't like it. But the individual holes are excellent. Yeah, they're excellent individual holes.
Old school golf.
Exactly. If you focus on those elements of the game, because really that's the only element that matters. I think Ricky and Paul are great at this. They forget what's happening in between their shots. That's why they obviously have stayed at the top for a super long time. If you're focusing so much on how the course is laid out and how this basket this and how, oh, that tree branch needs to be cut. Dudes, you are like, it's like diva.
Yeah.
Stop with the diva. Go out there, look at the course, now if something's to where it's like dangerous.
Sure.
Bring it to someone's attention, because obviously, but when it comes down to you don't like the way the shot is because it doesn't fit your style, or dude, you need to work harder. If you're playing on Mach 3 baskets, you better spend some extra time figuring out the putt, the speed, the tempo to jam putts on Mach 3 baskets.
And I think that goes to say on every basket. Every single basket catch is different. That's
part of that course.
Every single basket catch is different.
100%.
Every basket has a weak spot, every basket has a strong spot, and you just have to know on each basket where the strong spots are.
Right.
Honestly, that's I did hear a lot of talk about the veteran basket. They are the new versions of the veteran baskets. I thought they caught great. There was a couple putts I saw that popped out, but they were questionable putts. Like, they were high, they were left, they were far right. Like, I mean...
honestly, Eric, I don't think the commentators, no hate against our commentators, I think they do a great job and it's super challenging. But it doesn't help when they're like, oh, that caught a lot of change. I don't see how that didn't stick. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I can visibly see that was high left. I can see that they put too much spin, Jakob. During the European, or no, what was it? Sula coverage. When you're spin putting at 1,000 miles an hour,
that's super hard.
Those chains aren't necessarily gonna, and you saw that.
Well,
the tempo.
The chains could split depending on what part of the angle you're at. You got a straight shot right into the pole, and that pole is what you're gonna hit and pop back out. So
it really comes to changing the game though, changing your particular game.
Well, and that's the thing that people don't understand. I saw a particular pro talking about the veteran baskets, and we've changed the veteran how many times? Because of this.
It's not like we're not listening to the feedback from the players and then from the
there's difference between feedback and just
complaining.
Being an ass, right? I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. Because constructive criticism is something we lack.
Yeah.
I get it if you have an issue with something, there's right ways and wrong ways to go about it. Blasting it on your social media or blasting it on your stories or something like that really doesn't do anything. It's just getting people talking. It's just spreading rumors. It's drama.
What is it? Stirring the pot.
You don't know the ins and outs of what how a decision was made.
Right.
So it's little things like that, and we could definitely utilize some more constructive criticism to make us all better. I think which is all we want.
The
want
disclaimers,
the same thing.
Right? Yes, the disclaimers though at the bottom of your post, it should say, not speaking from experience for most of the people that are razzing the crap out of tournament directors around, and believe me,
still mostly volunteer based.
Yeah, the second we start getting paid positions for tournament director roles, I think you're just going to see a different mindset and a different work ethic towards, making sure everything's great. Because then you're not like, oh, I have, when can I spend this 20 hours on this event this week, with my full-time job.
Yep.
I think there's certain people that have that luxury. They're still not getting paid full-time.
Right.
But if we look at the PDGA's case, these are paid positions in a lot of these things. And I don't know if it, maybe PDGA might need to get more staffing in a certain area to help supplement that, which is going to be hard.
PDGA did bring a lot of people with him on this trip. I think there was
a lot of
3
officials.
marshals on on both courses.
I saw Stephen Waits.
Stephen Waits came out.
Great tournament director.
Yeah, there was and they had their media team here. There was PDGA brought their staff, and so did DGPT.
Yeah.
They brought their entire staff. Disc Golf Network is out here. There's still a box behind the tee pad right here that they use to stand on to film the hole. So they were definitely out here. They were doing a great job. I can't say enough positive things about the PDGA though, coming out and their mindset, and they take a lot of flack.
Oh.
The PDGA takes a lot of flack, and it's
asterisk speaking. Not from experience, because we haven't worked for the PDGA to that capacity.
No,
but
not
I'm
at all.
Sure. I'm sure.
And it's
so much heat.
Oh, so much. It's tough. It's I to the point where I feel for him at times. And
you just can't make everyone happy.
You can't, and that's the thing. You just gotta keep your nose down and just move forward, I guess. But
so we were gonna talk about the changes to Jones.
Mm-hmm.
The first change was actually hole 1.
Yes, it was. It was hole 1. Yeah. So obviously at the Dynamic Discs Open, it was windy. There was probably the largest scoring spread was on hole 1.
Okay.
A lot of people laying up, and we wanted to entice players to go for that green.
Mm-hmm.
Conditions were absolutely perfect, as I mentioned. It blows my mind that people would actually lay that hole up.
It's 280 feet.
The way I look at it is, they're all professionals in this event. They should be able to throw a 281-foot downhill to a circle. And I get it, maybe nerves are working, and you're just thinking, I just want to get out of here with a par. I'm going to go pitch, and get out. But I guess for me, when I was playing, in my mindset, no different on this hole, no matter the conditions.
Yeah.
This hole 16 is what I would do, is go for that green.
Every time.
Because if I lay up, you bring 5 into play. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Right? And and both holes have drop zones that are obtainable. I mean, 16s is.
Well, you moved the drop zone on hole 1.
We did move the drop zone on 1. We moved it closer. I think it's like 40 feet.
Yeah, just outside. It's a makeable putt.
It's a putt that these guys and gals should be able to make and run. I get it, whatever. But we wanted people to go for the green.
Dude, okay. I'm just thinking about this. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, so you still give them the layup option,
Yes.
and in my head, I'm like, dude, forget that. Make them run it.
Make them run
True
that
Island.
green.
Make them run it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, look, dudes, it's a stock shot.
Yeah.
Everyone in this game at this level should have this shot. And you're going to tell me you're afraid to make it inside of a circle from 280 feet?
Yeah. Well, especially the way the green lays up now with, as you were alluding to earlier, the change on hole 1 is we put an extra layer of limestone behind it.
Yes. Boom.
Which limestone's not free. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
Those things are huge.
They're expensive.
They had an excavator come out and like pick it up, drop them down.
We put them on that backside.
That's definitely helpful too.
It does help, because a lot of times at DDO I saw a couple of people bounce out, hit and skip out, but saw people skip into it and those kind of things. So I thought the wall was great. I think hole 1 is beautiful.
So this is, I think, the mindset of a lot of these pros, right? They're like, well, I don't feel comfortable making this island. So
on my first shot of the day, I think that's what a lot of them are saying.
Yeah, on my first shot of the day, I don't feel, okay, you mean so the hour or 2 hours you spent in the warm-up field didn't help? Okay, whatever, that's irrelevant. So let's just say they go for the shot.
That, but yeah.
Let's just say they go for the shot. And it's a stock shot. So this is why this is such a good hole. In your head, if you miss that first stock shot, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
The best I can do is a par now.
Yeah.
And then you get up to this fairly simple putt. The conditions were perfect. This is an easy 40-footer for most pros. Mm-hmm. And then you miss that putt. So the first 2 things that you do
is miss and miss.
Is
and
miss
it
and
sets
miss.
the pace for the round.
Exactly. But how many people did you see bogey that hole and then still came out and shot an excellent round?
Tristan Tanner. Tristan Tanner had the hot round.
I think we could talk about Tristan for 30 minutes by himself.
And we will. But
but that's why that hole's so good.
He bogeyed the first hole of his. Well, I guess it was not the first hole of his Worlds, because he started here because he was in the B pool. But his first hole at Jones, and then went on to shoot a 13, I think, or 12 or something like that, which is just.
It's the scoring.
It's crazy. So, and I look, I understand beat a dead horse all day long about hole number 1. If you like it or you love it,
it's a difference of opinion.
It is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Take it for what it is and play the hole.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong.
Quit complaining, dude.
You're not wrong on that.
It.
But it's going to happen. That's just human nature. I think,
for sure.
And here's the thing. Somebody told me this, and it really stuck with me. I think that the negativity always outweighs the positivity. So if somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, man, good job," it makes you feel good, right? It makes you feel good. If I come up to you and say, if I come up to you and say, "TaKo, great job this week. I'm proud of you." You know that you feel good. I come up to you and say, "TaKo, you suck. I don't like anything you do." How heavy does that weigh on you?
Yeah.
A lot more. So, the minority is usually the loudest.
Yeah.
And it's just something you gotta deal with. It's just something you just gotta get through.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Boo.
But anyway, that's I don't want to turn this into a complaining about.
No, I don't think we're doing that.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to get our word out there on what my mindset was on things, what we were doing with things, and that stuff. So, but we did make some changes. Hole 1 was one of them. We made a couple FPO changes out there, a couple new pins, which I think were fantastic. I think it was well received from the FPO division.
Right. There were some power changes on a couple of the same holes.
From APO. The hole from the dam that you play from the dam, hole 9.
Yeah, that basket.
That's a shorter. They played. It went from the hardest par 4 to probably the easiest.
Right.
But I think that's an easy fix with the OB. Excuse me. On the left side, you could tweak it in just a little bit more, kind of sneak it up around that tree line. Because right now, players are just mashing drives into that.
So far, yeah.
But
maybe tighten that
hole.
OB.
I could, but I love that hole. I love how it plays.
Right.
I think it's
a great shot.
It is. It's a fun tee shot. And the second shot into that green, where that basket is one of my favorite spots at Jones Park.
It's touchy. The
like
ceiling's low.
You got an elevation. You got little mounds on both sides of you all the way down. It's just a great hole. I truly love that hole, and it was a good change. It was a good change bringing it out. And then
putting in the shade.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The next change was really not until, man, I can't even think of another one that we really did for MPO at least.
Hole the one across the creek.
The OB, we took the OB away from the creek. I had a player that brought it up that it's not fair that, it's fine that it's there, but it shouldn't be OB, those kind of things. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. But, and here's the thing, the difference between Dynamic Discs Open and Professional World Championships obviously was the conditions.
Yes.
Right? I can't stress that enough. We say that a lot. We've said it enough today. But that hole becomes really easy for them. And people were asking me why we don't play the long right pin on that hole, which is the Supreme short basket.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we don't is because for these guys from the long tee, they just dump a hyzer and then dump a hyzer over the top. So there you go. That's your hyzer that we're trying to eliminate.
Yeah.
So I think that hole's great, though. I'm perfectly fine with the creek in between not being out of bounds, acting more as a bunker. I'm perfectly fine with that.
And it is. It caught plenty of this. Yeah.
Because if you hit that leaves you with like a, 45-foot obstructed putt?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Definitely.
So I'm perfectly fine with that change. But other than that, Jones played great. I loved it. I was very happy with it. A lot of players liked Jones. But then coming out to Country Club, we didn't have a whole lot of changes out here. We did have one big change, one new hole out here, and it's hole number 12.
Oh, man.
It's the mushroom tree hole, as I've heard it called.
That's a great call for that.
Before, it was just kind of a boring hole, right? It was just...
I liked the shot, too.
I liked it as well, but anybody that has
a big forehand
or lefty high, it's just a dump.
It
right?
was,
just dump. And,
as we saw from the play this year.
And it was one of the elevated baskets at the Dynamic Disc Open. So what we did is we went out and we saw that area on the right side it was all overgrown at that point, but there was a tree line right down the middle. And I thought, why don't we just put a basket way up there, like 450, I think it is, something like that, give or take. Yeah. And let's put a basket up there and let's have all this BOB and this side be inbounds. In my head, my thought when I was going into this, designing that hole, was I wanted to replicate hole 10 at the USDGC.
Okay, I'm not the best at...
So it's the one... Have you been to USDGC?
Once.
Okay, well, when you first pull in to Winthrop, the basket right there on the right, it's usually pink. It's usually the throw pink hole.
Okay, so 7's here, and then
8 plays
10. Not a double mando. That's too far. Why
double
am I
mando.
not?
What's the double mando?
It's
Which
like
one?
hole 14 or something like that. It's like, or triple mando. Like you got to go through that gate, and I feel like that's against the road. Hole 10. Pink.
That's hole 7. It's right by the tennis courts.
No, there's another hole that
There's
like
it tees off right by the road.
Oh, that long one.
It's super long. It's like 480 or something. I don't know how far the hole is. I'm not gonna say.
It's on It has the stack.
It has
thing.
the stack.
That's over
basket.
500 feet because those guys were throwing there for eagle putts.
Yes, it's a par 4 for them.
Yeah.
We decided we're gonna call ours a par 3 for MPO, par 4 for FPO because, I mean, it's 400 uphill to clear the OB, and calling that a par 4 just didn't feel right. I think at the time because
I think that's the right call.
I think so too. I didn't see a lot of people. Honestly, I didn't see a lot of people going for it, except shout out Ezra Adderhold. Did you hear about Ezra?
I was watching that.
Ezra aced that hole. It's on film. I think somebody had a cell phone shot of it, so you can find it. But
Silver Lot. I was on his card with Emerson, and then Silver Lot's buddy from Estonia. I didn't meet him, but they're speaking Estonian. He just happened to be turning around and filming Ezra as he smokes this 451-foot mash hyzer uphill in perfect conditions, and it just hits chains, like doesn't skip. I don't know if it even could have. I mean, he does throw far. But dude, it was insane.
Center. I mean, I don't know if it was dead center, but it hit solid basket. It was moving. And
you're just standing there. I'm like, was that a fairway throw-in? And then I look.
Arguably the best ace on the course. Like this hole is pretty sick.
This one's cool.
Epic-wise. Like Gavin Rathman, shout out to Gavin.
Feet. Yeah, he had a sick ace.
Fusion EMac Truth.
Oh.
Just saying. Ace this one with that. That was sick. But that one on 12 is just super impressive.
It really is. So you're thinking it's 4, or do you know it's like 400 feet to that?
To clear it.
Man, that feels way further too.
Well, it's uphill.
Yeah.
It's uphill, and you got trees on both sides, so you don't have a ton of room to manipulate the disc.
Yeah, you have to start it.
And these guys all have stock 400-foot, just almost fairway drivers. Like some of these guys do, right?
Yeah.
But that's why the left side is all open for. I saw a lot of people throw, like Double G. I saw him. I saw Eagle throw that big, huge, high Anheuser shot, which I never even considered. Which makes sense because that's the shot that you can get aggressive on. And if you get something to hold that whole way, you're going to have a putt. But if it goes OB, you're going OB so far up there that you're going to give yourself an opportunity for par, but at worst bogey. As where if you go the hyzer line, the dead straight line, and you go OB, you're moving up maybe 10 feet and probably just going to re-tee.
Yeah, I like the OB. There's OB left on that hole. On the left side of that cedar, the mushroom.
It's quite a ways. I mean, not by the mushroom tree, but
that Anheuser. So this is what we were talking about before, the risk reward. So even though you're like, smash this hyzer line, throwing that big Anheuser is a risk reward shot.
Yeah, it is.
I watched Ricky. I think it was like round 2 out here or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe round 1 out here. Ricky threw a orbit.
Round 2.
Yeah, round 2, an orbit rive. And I was like thinking that he was just gonna kind of pitch up, and then I realized he's throwing a rive, dude. And he just holds over on this thing super hard, and he just smushes it. And he gets up there, and he's 45.
He smushes it.
Smushes. Just smushopotamus.
Smushosaurus Rex.
Dude.
That works better with Rick.
Smushtastic. Dude, yeah, Smushosaurus Rex. Dude, he hit this thing so hard and he put himself like 40. And I thought he might have gone out of bounds because you're really testing not only the left side OB, and I watched plenty of people hyzer out, not committing to that angle. Because really if you pitch up shorter than getting up there 350 feet, or more. You have to go 350 feet up there to have a good approach.
Sure.
The other ones are totally going to be blocked. The tree line's so tall, and there's really, the only window that there is super far back at about like 180 feet off the tee.
Yeah.
And then not only that, you have to carry OB on the approach. So still makes it a very tough, challenging shot and hole.
And what I love about it is it's somewhat middle round, little late middle round, but it's one of those holes that you got to have your head on.
How am I feeling today?
Because it's one of those holes that could absolutely ruin your day. Like it's a round killer. It can be a round killer.
Yeah.
But you could also play it very smart and very easy and very safe, and take a relatively easy par.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know. Whole big old bass just jump right there. This is sick. This is so awesome out here, by the way.
This is pretty sick.
Oh, see, it's feeding time. We should have brought some.
We should have brought a pole and just.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
We're feeding on disc golf right now.
That's right, baby. So yeah, 12, great.
12 was
great
sick.
change.
I loved it.
14 was another one that we changed for the MPOs.
Moved the bass, or
where they played it from at the Dynamic Discs Open, it was a par 4 from there, but it was a weird par 4, like especially in the wind, garbage wind.
So it was same tee pad.
No, it was a different tee. We put in a new tee that was probably, I would guess, 80 feet longer.
Okay.
Maybe if that, and then made it into a par 5, and it was a great par 5 because we had a couple eagles on it. I saw Ricky eagled it.
Right. It was the birdie. It was this must birdie. It turned into a must birdie hole.
Yeah, and it's still not easy because you got that left side that is OB, and what people don't see on video is that fairway leaks right to left. Like
really hard.
It's got some, like you put a golf ball at the top of that, it may roll all the way down. Like it's got some good undulation, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
it's all the way down.
Oh yeah, it gets.
But that's why if you have a power forehand,
Yep.
it's a fantastic shot there because you can come in relatively flat, get the skip, and you don't have to worry about a hyzer coming in at that angle and getting the skip out of bounds because that OB on the left comes up quick.
Oh, so quick.
Super quick.
I watched, again, I'm going to talk about Rick because he was throwing the Rive, insane. And Rick probably has one of the better forehands, I would say top forehands in the game.
Absolutely.
And he chooses on that hole to go backhand Rive, and his tee shot puts him, I want to say, over 600 feet down the fairway. that right there, high risk, high reward, because when you get Calvin Heimberg, I think final round, put himself down there where Rick was at, and that from there changes it to like, I put in so much work to get down here and put a lot of risk in. I better get up and down for 3.
Get my eagle.
Because these guys, you just put one 600 feet. What's a 300-foot shot in, or 300-plus foot shot in for an approach for these guys? Nothing.
It's nothing. Although
it's you can't see the bottom of the basket.
Yeah,
you can't even see the basket.
The green
really.
is tough because we
leaning.
moved the basket at Dynamic Disc Open this year. We pushed it longer than that normal under the tree where Eagle got the eagle.
Eagle's
a
eagle.
few years ago.
Yeah.
It's right behind the golf green now, and it's sloping significantly down to the OB road. I don't foresee people coming in and hitting and rolling all the way to the road, but they'll definitely get a roll to like 40, 50 feet, which is nothing you want to do looking uphill at this putt because you're thinking if I miss low, this thing could come right back to me, right?
Yep.
So that approach into this green is not easy. Like, who was it I was watching? I was taking photos this day, I think. Anthony Barella he threw a roller on this hole off the tee. He went out of bounds at the bottom of the hill. Like, I'm talking
on the left side.
The left side.
Where Simon went OB a few years ago, right?
Yep, exactly.
But I mean,
from a shorter tee.
Yeah, 80 feet closer for Simons.
He went OB down there, and then he threw his approach shot, and his disc was just floating in by the basket. And he, I was walking out, and I, gave him a fist bump, said, nice shot, whatever. He goes, how far did I go? Because he didn't. You can't see.
No clue.
You
Yeah,
never
so
know.
far
it's
down
one of those
there.
things that's what I love about towards the end of the round throwing a shot like that because you don't know until you get up there. So it keeps your mind thinking. It keeps your mind like, oh, how far out am I? How far did that slide?
Scenario.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of, that's why you got to stay in the moment. You got to stay calm. And it's a lot like the walk from 15's basket to this tee pad. You got to walk. It's a little bit of a walk, and you got to walk across the fairway here, and then you got to walk all the way down the water, and the water just staring at you.
And then you're watching maybe the card in front of you
throw from the back zone. So there's
I'm guilty of watching disc golf while I'm playing disc golf.
I do all the time. It's hard not to.
We love it too much.
It's really hard not to. But I'm super excited about how both courses played. Yeah. Especially Jones. Country Club, obviously, it's routine at this point, and I think it gets better every year. Courses never looked better as far as green. We had leaves, green fairways, grass. I mean, everything looked great, and obviously that is due to the time of year we hosted the event as opposed to when everything's fresh, budding, and all that, where now it's had some life and all that fun stuff. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about this hole.
Okay.
Hole 16.
Love it.
So
pretty.
I heard, the funny thing is, I guess it's not funny, but the thing is, nobody talked about the painted line on the island until Goose threw OB on it.
The final round.
The playoff.
What?
Yeah, the playoff. So this is hole 16. This is the first playoff hole of Worlds. In any event we've ever had out here, this is always where we go because it's the decider.
Yeah, there's history, so much history on this hole.
There was a world champion crowned on it less than a week ago. That's pretty sick. But
great job, Paul.
you know, we made the decision to paint the island.
Okay.
We made the decision to paint the island. The PDGA encouraged it. We decided, okay, we'll do it. A couple reasons why. Number one, the water in this lake is significantly down.
It's a pond.
Yeah.
Don't let Eric tell you it's a lake.
It's a lake for
Emporia
around here.
Country Club. Yeah, right? That's
It
a good
is
call.
significantly low.
Oh yeah, I mean you can, well,
Like 3 feet low.
I'm sure you can see it from the camera, but where that plateau drops off, that ground right there is extremely
Yeah.
understable.
Yeah,
Not
it is.
stable. It's just not stable. Like you slide around. I watch people fall in trying to retrieve discs right there. So
Well, the
safety-wise,
little drop off there, where we painted the line is where the water line typically is.
yes,
And if we get quite a bit of rain, a significant amount of rain, the water goes up, right?
Real quick,
so if
yeah.
that were to happen during the round, like let's say people were playing through the round and through on the island safe, short, but on grass safe, and it was the water's edge, and then an hour later, after the rain, the water's up and someone throws in the same spot and it's OB, is that fair? You got to think about it like that, right? And we've had a couple questionable calls on the island hole when we didn't paint it, and
yeah.
why do that? Why have Worlds come down to a potential bogus
a
call?
provisional.
Yeah, like you just don't want to see that. So we painted it. It was fair. It was the same paint line the entire week that everybody played. My heart does go out to Aaron for, but he didn't. I mean, he didn't execute the shot.
I felt like he sawed it off.
He definitely sawed it off a little bit, but he made the island, I think, 3 out of the 5 times, probably something like that. I don't know how many times he played it off the top of my head. I think it was 5 after the playoff. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. Either way, he made the island. I do feel bad for the guy because, I mean, it's a world title, right? I mean, can you imagine the butterflies flapping around in his stomach on that tee shot?
He had stones though.
Yeah.
You know, like the fact that he played as well as he did for as long as he did, so impressive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. His second shot on 18, the final round, was probably the most impressive shot of the tournament.
That is such a big forehand. I mean, talking about sloping greens, like that, you have to throw at like, even though his tee shot's out there and it may look flat, that tee shot is sloping left to right, or not tee shot, but the fairway's left to right, and then he's throwing up that left side high to get up. I mean, that's 420 foot forehand power to get it up and around.
To an elevated basket.
And then the pinpoint accuracy with that same left to right down to an elevated basket. I mean,
with world championships on the line.
Way to put pressure,
Aaron,
on the line.
That was
hole.
the shot of the tournament, in my opinion. I watched a lot of shots. Ezra's shot was amazing.
Right.
But that was the shot of the tournament, in my opinion.
You know, I'm gonna. Paul's approach shot on 17.
It was great.
The ceiling that he had was, I mean, that's a really tough ceiling.
Yes, it's a low ceiling.
It's a low ceiling, and then as you cross that part of the fairway, it dips down, and then it dips back up at the end for these little hills. Again, the basket's really hard to tell how far you are because you can't really see the bottom part of the basket. I feel like when your eyes can't see that, it's hard for you depths.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, even when you're shooting it with a Bushnell, it's still really hard to like feel that's what the distance really is.
No,
so,
you're right. Paul's shot on 17 was amazing. His putt was great. A lot of that, but in my opinion, it came down to that shot. If Gossage didn't execute that shot, there is no playoff.
Yeah, because then Paul could basically like lay up.
Yeah, so that shot from Gossage was, dude, and maybe it was even more impressive because it was a forehand.
Yeah.
For me to see that shot, like, dude, like props to you, Aaron. I'm proud of you. Great shooting this week. That's really all I can say about it.
I love the fact, real quick, since we're talking about this hole, the fact that we were able to watch almost any tee shot that came out here.
Yes.
Was it PDGA or Disc?
That was Disc Golf Network.
Disc Golf Network had a camera out on this hole, and then
1 and 6 at Jones.
Hole 1 and 6 at Jones.
Yep. And then they might have had another state. They had 3 cameras on this hole alone.
I think
They
it
had
was
one
well
at
worth
the tee, one at the pin, and then I think one stationary one right over here that was just getting player reaction.
Yeah.
I think there might.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, I can't, Siri.
Siri, stop it.
18 was the other one. There was AJ actually.
Okay.
Our boy AJ Risley
Go
was manning that camera there all day long. So
Yeah.
that was another one. Yeah, I think we're getting closer and closer to where the sport needs to be. Like I hope that this continues. I hope at the
Yes.
next event they have a hole that's a par 3, because obviously they had it on this hole because it's an iconic hole.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it is an iconic hole, and they wanted to get that ace. Without that camera, would we have seen Gavin's ace? You know, would we have seen Rebecca Cox's
Yeah, we'd
glance
have
off
to
chains or the band? whatever it was?
fingers crossed for social media posts about some random fan or boyfriend,
And-
girlfriend, whoever.
And that's not going to be as quality, obviously.
No.
So yeah, I think that's great. I think you can't go backwards at this point now. You know, I think that's kind of like what
You
we
guys set a
need
standard.
to do for
Yeah.
is have more cameras on the courses so people can sit there and just watch a hole that they love, or watch some ace runs, or maybe get some love for those players that aren't on feature cards.
Yes.
That don't get the love. That kind of stuff I think is where we're headed, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about the future, obviously.
Well, I think obviously the more coverage you have, the more opportunity you have to pick up sick highlight shots.
Yeah.
One of the reasons.
Well, it just feels more professional.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I can understand that actually paying for the operation of these things is
Sure.
comes at a large cost.
Oh yeah, absolutely right.
And that's probably one of the biggest issues. But the more so to speak, top 10 SportsCenter top 10 moments that we could have in disc golf, the better. Like there's a guy who got social media famous for hitting that 600-foot plus ace.
Oh my gosh, that was insane.
That was pretty nasty. I can't
That was
remember.
so sick.
It was really far. Full flight, everything. These guys had enough time to talk about the shot for 10 minutes and what they had for breakfast 3 days ago.
Right.
Before the thing went in. So, but that doesn't happen without more and more camera footage of big events like this, where you have people watching,
Throwing those miracle shots.
miracle shots.
Yeah.
And then
And the
holy
talent level,
shot type.
the talent pool is so deep. Like, it's insane how deep it is now.
Yeah. Tristan coming from the B pool. Has that happened ever?
Yes, one time that I remember, my first Worlds, actually 2007 maybe, in Highbridge, Wisconsin.
Oh.
Mikey Randolph was in the B pool and came back and made the finals. And, I think he had taken some time off. That's probably why he was in the B pool. Just like Tristan isn't like a B pool player. Like he's an A pool player, but yeah, I think his rating was like tied with somebody. I think it was tied with Stokely, his rating, and that's how they determined who was in A pool and B pool. But Stokely had the lower PDGA number,
Yeah,
so he got into
Stokely's PDGA
A
number was
pool
like
and-
7 or something.
Yeah, so he got into the A pool, and Tristan was in the B pool. But props to Tristan, man. I'm super proud of you. How cool is it, honestly, and maybe it's just me that thinks it's cool because I'm associated with these 3 brands, that the trilogy, as people call it, DD, Chris Clemens, Matty O for Westside, Tristan Tanner for Latitude, all 3 tied for 3rd place. That's cool, like, right? I mean, it's just,
Those are podium finishes, gentlemen.
that's sick.
And that's $7,500 in the bank.
Whew. Podium finish, like, it's just cool that it's 3 dudes from 3 different companies that kind of represent each other.
Well, I think that
awesome.
has a lot to say about how these guys feel about the plastic that they're throwing. And a lot of times people are mentioning it's the archers, not the arrows. And I agree with that. I do. There is a level of being able to trust those arrows, or know that sometimes you're the reason that the arrow doesn't go the way it is. Not the arrow's fault. It's your fault.
Right. Well,
most of the time.
And speaking about Tristan a little bit more, you know, at the Dynamic Discs Open, he was like second round, I think. He was like top 4, top 3 even potentially.
Yeah.
And had to walk off the course because he was just deathly ill.
Yeah, that's right.
He had COVID, I think, and he just was.
He did drop. Yeah,
he was feeling miserable. So after he played 13 by the parking lot, he just kept walking to his card. I don't even know if he told it. I think he mumbled something to his group, is what I heard.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you're feeling like crap. Just go home, go rest. I mean, that's
Let me
important.
tell you guys.
But that tells you, I mean, the kid's got skills, right? Tristan's got one of the most underrated forehands I've ever seen. It's insane.
Yeah, if anybody's actually spent the time to watch Tristan's game. So I was fortunate enough to be a part of the process of picking Tristan up.
I remember I wasn't team manager at the time you were, and we went, I don't know what we were doing. We went to Kansas City for something. I think we went to the airport for something, and we had a phone call with Tristan.
Yes.
And that was my first interactions with him, and it just, such a good dude. But he was here. He came to Emporia in 2020 during the pandemic, the first part of it, and we got together and shot a couple videos. I did one for his channel. Yep. We did the blind rounded Hammond doubles at mine, and it was Tristan's such a good dude. So go follow Tristan if you don't. He's such a good dude.
You know, speaking of like Tristan and Aaron Gossage, you know, these guys are so fresh to the scene, and it's those two guys. And guys like that that are really just taking this sport to the next level. You know, you're talking about 500 foot, you know, backhand power. I want to say Tristan can put 500 foot, you know, forehand power on there.
Easily.
He has such a compact whip, either backhand or forehand. If you look at his run up, you know, he's not generating the power from the run up. He's generating it all from that power pocket, the core, you know, keeping it all close. And then I think Tristan had mentioned when he snaps a forehand, he starts actually snapping back here. So his wrist is back here and it starts to turn forward, and that's what he's allowing to bring through. That's why he's just like right here. And Gossage, definitely, you know, he's putting some serious torque and some force on that. Like he's using body to get it going.
Yep. That nuke he was throwing all week was pretty impressive to watch. That forehand coming in on every shot that he threw it on. It was just
dialed.
Yeah, he was dialed in.
Dialed with that disc.
Right in the middle of the fairway every single time. It was phenomenal.
He's good, but these guys are, you know, they're really showing you that it's still important to have that. I think that full aspect of the game, being able to throw forehand shots when it requires a forehand, because a forehand and a turnover shot will never be the same shot. They don't have the same action, none of that. So, you know, and both of these guys, I feel like, were throwing great turnover shots, excellent forehand shots, and huge backhands and they're making putts.
And that's what you have to have.
You know,
I think what you have to be able to do in order to put your name on a trophy.
I think with
nowadays,
yes, 100%.
Nowadays,
with if you have typical Kansas winds out here, I think the event gets much more tougher for an Aaron Gossage style putt. The pitch putt / pitch spin, or what is it? The spush type putt. Just it starts to get a little bit more effective. Tristan has like more of that spin putt. You know, we haven't talked much about Paul. The dude is just...
Yeah, I wanted to touch base on Paul before we're done here.
He totally, you know, and you look at Paul will actually change his putting stance, you know, throughout the round. Ricky changes his putting stance mid-round, you know, or putting throw when it requires
when he needs to.
Stance, whether, you know, and that's important, you know, when you're playing.
Yeah.
You can't use the same, you know, a lot of times we practice putt on flat ground. Why do we do that? Because most of our lies are not that.
Correct.
You know, we have some sort of weird lie we need to stand on. So,
well, it's like I mean, touching on Paul for sure. Like going back to that, like just won his 6th world title. Like that's you know, when I was growing up playing, obviously I followed Kenny because he was like the GOAT back in the day.
Yeah.
Like he was the man. He was the person everybody strived to be. Like chasing titles, talking about chasing titles, you know, that's
12.
he's the man you got to look up to, right?
Yeah.
Paul's halfway there, and in my day, I sound old, but when I was traveling and playing, I never thought anybody would get, you know, halfway to his.
Yeah.
And Paul has now, which is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. The way, I mean, he just always rises to the occasion. Always rises to the major occasion, right? If it's a major, I don't know if it's Paul just taking an extra few putts before or what it is, but
That
whatever
mental,
he puts
it's that
into
mental
it,
space. I think it's the
it
mental
very well
space.
could be the mental. Just he's got it on lock, and it's insane. It's almost not fair for the other competitors. Like, I say that jokingly, but like,
Well,
I say that in giving Paul props.
it's
not
warranted for
anything
sure.
else. Yeah.
You know, like he's just been in so many of those situations.
Mm-hmm.
So many times where, you know, it's him and another guy fighting for the win.
Yeah.
You know, it turns into a, can you beat Paul? Can you chase Paul down? Or is Paul going to chase you down? And, you know, I don't know if I've ever seen Paul in like a three-way tie at the top, because it's usually him and another dude pushing it
Yeah.
to another extreme.
Yeah.
You know, which I love that fact. I love the fact that really Paul is that guy that can really bring the best. Because you know in your head, if you're playing Paul McBeth, you have to, no matter how good you are headspace, you still know
Yeah.
that you're playing against.
Just the way he carries himself.
Yes.
And I wanna kind of touch a little bit on that final round coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. I really didn't care who won the event at
Mm-hmm.
that point. I just wanted to see a good battle.
It was great golf.
At that point, I was kind of pulling for Aaron.
Yeah.
A little bit, just because he's the underdog.
Yeah.
I know what that's like.
Yeah.
You know, he's a good kid. So like, I was kind of hoping Aaron pulled off the W there, but I'm happy for Paul. Don't
Yeah.
twist that at all. But yeah, Paul shot on 15, like probably the most routine par 3 at Jones or at Country Club.
Just a shank, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean,
Horrible timing.
That's a big error from him coming down the stretch, which made him park this hole and jam a big putt and then throw the most exceptional shot ever on 17 and then hit a 69-foot putt right side that stayed in.
The sequence of
And
events was very
unbelievable.
Thank you for the sequence of events that they gave us. You know, if you're watching at home on DGN or you were here
I will
live.
say 18, I was on the bleachers
Yeah.
filming in slow-mo in hopes to get Paul's last putt, and I could see his head under the basket where I was because it's an elevated basket.
Yeah.
I am shocked that he didn't make that putt.
He was really close.
He was circle 2. He was in circle 2.
Was it like 45
It
feet
was
though? So it was like
probably-
midway, not even midway.
and it
circle
was
two?
one of those, if it does hit a little right side or
Trouble. Yeah.
basket, like it could
Roll
go
away.
OB, and then you just lost worlds on the last hole. So I completely understand what was going through his head, but I just assumed he was jamming that putt for the win.
Stones
Can you
for yeah.
imagine
Not
the
even thinking.
eruption from that massive crowd that we haven't even talked about on Saturday?
Dude, it was like
There was like 2,000 people out here.
yeah. I remember coming up to the RV. Carly's like, I need the mortar and pestle out of the RV. I was like, okay. So I snuck over there and grabbed it real quick, moved off to the side, and as you come into the parking lot of the country club, Emporia Country Club, you can kind of see, if you come in from another direction, you can't see any of hole 1.
Correct.
It's literally like the back, 2 holes that you're kind of coming up on, and the what is it called, the racquetball court, or what is it called?
Pickleball.
Pickleball. Sorry for those who are pickleball enthusiasts. I'm not a huge fan, even though I know I'd crush that sport. Either way. So as you come up, and if you come up from the north side or the one side of the country club, you can't see hole 1. So I get up there and I see the bleachers are packed, which is great. Considering, because the sun's like right there, so it's
Sure.
like it's an intense spot. But as I walk up and I actually get to hole 1's tee, I look down and I just see people start lining the entire
Hole 1.
1,000 feet or
hole 1.
1,100 feet of hole 1.
Probably 5 people deep.
Yeah,
And-
the pathway, because they had the flags signifying the pathway. That whole area was like, just, it looked like a concert. It was pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Emporia's a small town.
It is. It
So
was,
to
it was
get
good eruptions out there on the course. Like, one funny thing is I was sitting with a group of people on hole 18s because we had bleachers set up on 18 as well with a big. We didn't even talk about the big screen that was there that was showing the broadcast.
such a great idea. I love that.
But we were sitting there watching it, right?
Yeah.
And we saw, like, obviously it's on delay, a bit of a delay. I think it was even
like
more of a delay this time for some reason, but
5 seconds maybe.
it was
or
like
something.
it was more than that. It was
okay.
probably like 12 seconds. Like it was a significant delay.
Okay.
And we heard this eruption from the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm talking massive eruption from the crowd. And it was on 17. It was obviously where it was coming from. And we're all like, everybody looked at each other like, oh my God, Paul just hit that putt.
So like you knew.
We knew automatically what happened before it actually happened. And then you see it on the screen. He hits the putt and then everybody on 18 erupts.
They blow up
So
twice.
It was
like,
really freaking cool to see. And yeah, just that eruption. Hearing the roar of the crowd, to me, there's nothing better. You know, it's a lot like golf where you have pockets. And that's one thing I noticed this year is in the past, a lot of people have followed the lead or second cards.
Yeah.
People are starting to go out and follow their favorite players, which is freaking awesome.
I love that. You know, anytime, you know, I think Simon's somebody
Simon's
that
group,
definitely.
Eagles group always has a following. Ricky's group always have a following.
Rick, Brody, actually starting to get to where people are starting to follow him around more. You know, I love that, you know, because it's really about like, you know, even I love watching Emerson play golf. I feel like he has the tools to be a world champion one day.
My body size, kind of.
I think just him being
and that compact player.
Yeah.
Like we have similar games, with the exception of he has a incredible forehand, and can throw the disc probably 80 feet, 90 feet further than I can.
Emerson is a specimen, right?
Yep.
You know, so I enjoy watching him play. He throws some of these shots, but you know, you can get that out of any one of your favorite players. It's great to watch. I think what DGN has really done now is made it to where, like, if you have an opportunity to be at that local course, to be at a course that you can go watch in person, you get a chance to watch that person that you really want to watch and see them, you know, as they are. Maybe not in a big, super huge crowd. And I think that's important for a fan, for a disc golf player, and just like the sport in general, to be able to have that opportunity to watch good golf at any point, right? And you can still watch crappy golf too, because those guys have off days, and you're just like,
everybody has off days.
you're like, man, should I have signed up and played? You know, bump. Let me get in on this.
Yeah,
Let me throw this.
I could have been on the 12th card.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bear shot, dude. What are you doing throwing that? You know, like yeah. So it's been so great to see. And here at Worlds, you know, it was really cool to see, like you said, a lot of people jumping around, watching their favorite cards. I loved how many people came out and watched the FPO.
Yes.
For the last couple days, you know, because oh, look, a little baby swan. The thing's tiny. I'm sorry. I love it out here. Nature. But yeah, the amount of, you know, because Carly plays, and, you know, I have the girls, and they love Kristin. You know, they
who
were.
doesn't?
Yeah, she's.
Let's be honest.
Lily's my 8-year-old, and Lily's. I'm like, everybody comes up to Lily and finds out she plays disc golf. Like, oh, who's your favorite player? And she's like, Kristin Tattar. And they're like, oh yeah, why? And she's like, 'cause she's nice.
Yes, it's fact. I mean, you can't deny it.
You could say who's one of your favorite people, and I'm sure Lily'd be like, Kristin Tattar.
Yeah,
'cause she's
Kristen's
nice.
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
props to her for winning too. Like the first European to win a world championship since '04 or something like that, when Brigitte Lagerholm won it in Des Moines, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I don't remember
there.
where she won, but she definitely won years and years ago.
Real quick about Kristin winning. I'm on the card with Silver and Emerson, and Silver teed off. You know, he made the cut, which is great. I'm sure he wasn't happy with where kind of he finished at, but you know, it just so happened to be as he finishes on hole 7.
Oh, that's so perfect.
Right, Kristin is putting out on 18.
Yep.
So
I thought I saw him run down the hill.
yeah, so the guy's on the card. Silver has like a decent drive, and then he like pins it on his second shot, which is a great set. Hole 7.
Yeah.
If you get a 3 on that hole, you did something good, because that's a very specific tee shot. So he gets it and he parks it, and they're like in the middle of the fairway, and Emerson's like, And all the other guys on carts like, run up there, go tap out.
Get out of here.
So he runs up there, taps out. I'm like, I'll get your bag. You know, he sprints over and he's able to catch Kristin at the perfect timing. And that's when you can see, like, you know, and he came back.
The kiss.
And I was just like looking, I
Congratulations.
had his bag, so he had to see me first basically when he's coming back. And I'm just like grinning at him, like doing my grin, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
dude, what a
That's
great
cool.
moment, you know?
That's cool that it worked out that way, because it could have been he was on hole one's basket or something, and
So yeah, the opposite, but he was about as close as you can be without actually, you know, having to,
not making the cut and being with her.
which, so.
Nobody wants that. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
wants to not make the cut, but
Yeah.
props to him, dude. That's awesome. Obviously, props to Kristin. Like, I'm super proud for her. I was pulling for Kristin or one of our ladies as well. You know, there's a handful of ladies
Holland-
I think that could have won. Holland was right there.
Dude,
Podium finish for Holland. Like, that girl.
she might
She's only
be,
been playing a couple years.
you know,
Let that sink in. She's only been playing for a couple of years.
she did weightlifting.
Yep.
Was it collegiate?
Powerlifter. Yep.
Collegiate powerlifting?
I think so. And I don't know if
Okay.
it was collegiate or not, but I'm pretty sure it probably was.
I
But
heard somebody
either
mention
way,
that.
the girl is good. The girl's got game. She can mash.
She throws
She's got
a
a good
wicked forehand.
I got a part job of her on 18, throwing her tee shot. Oh my gosh, I shared that out already. It's phenomenal. Keep your eye on
Yeah.
Holland. She's probably going to be in
Follow
contention
Holland.
for the next few years.
I would agree. She does great tips too on her
Yes.
Instagram.
Yep.
You know, beginner tips, pro
All that.
tips. Yeah, it's great. So if you get a
Holland
chance to
is
meet
awesome.
her,
Yeah,
Holland
she's
Hammock.
a fantastic individual.
Another DD player came up with actually they had a couple world championships for DD. Macy Valadiaz.
Macy Valadiaz.
Doubles world champion with Calvin Heimberg.
Yep.
They shot some good golf out there at the Supreme Course
Yep.
for doubles.
Yep.
And
Sarah
then
Gilpin,
Sarah Gilpin,
putting champ.
putting champ. Do you know what she putts with?
EMac Judges is what she putts with. So
Selfless plug.
yeah,
Insert here.
insert here. Yeah. No, props to both of them. That's awesome.
Yeah, good job, Sarah.
I was out there watching Macy play the doubles with Calvin, and it was a lot of fun. Doubles is always, it's great, but it's like, it feels weird out there at times too.
I would agree. The format, you know,
I feel like it could be taken a little bit more serious, maybe.
well, you know, I was kind of shocked to see that the first place prize for doubles was like $180.
Yeah, I don't think it was much to play it either, though. So, I mean, you gotta
be-
think about that when it's the same week as Worlds.
Yeah,
They're not gonna add
that's a
money
good
to
call.
that when they're gonna add money to the pro purse, which
So
was
maybe-
also $200,000, by the way, something we didn't touch on. Largest purse in
Yeah,
world
Paul got
history.
20 grand.
20 grand for first place. Kristin got 11.
11.
11. It wasn't that long ago that first place in FPO was like $1,800 for Worlds. Like, let that sink in. That's insane.
So I remember, this is dating myself a little bit, but Carly and I went to the Rocky Mountain Women's Disc Golf Championship,
Doug
the third one.
Bierkus tournament.
One of Doug Bierkus's, you know, obviously president of DD now, but this is back in Colorado. And I think first place at the time, Val Jenkins. Terrible conditions, but Val ended up winning, and she got $2,200,
Yeah, something like
and
that.
that was the
was huge.
highest
Highest paid
paid out of any tournament, I think, for the late, more than Worlds at that time.
Yeah, I believe it, because just a couple years
$2,200.
ago it was $1,800. So
Dude, so to think that we've come to $11,000 for the FPO is, I mean, that's a game changer.
200 grand is pretty phenomenal for a purse, and we're climbing. I mean, it's obviously the bar has been set again.
Yeah.
Next year the bar will be set again. The
Yeah.
following year the bar will be set again until we're at $1 million purse at some point in the future.
Yep.
But we do need those big sponsors, and that's where you come in.
Yes, please, someone find
That's where that
Ford.
corporate sponsorship comes in and sponsors the event, you know. And instead of having a floating DD sign, we have a floating Dodge Ram or Toyota Tacoma or something
Let's
out there.
go,
that
dude.
If you ace, that's your car. You
Just
know,
put a vehicle on the water.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Like that floating DD back there. That thing is sick. Love that thing.
Great idea.
You know, we've been rambling on for about an hour, a little over an hour now, and Worlds was great. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening to us just babble for about an hour on
We
on
needed
World
an hour though,
Championships.
because we haven't.
We did, and I think
you
we
know.
could have kept going even longer if we really needed to. 'Cause I'm sure we missed something, didn't break down something, but
Yeah.
I think we touched most of the things that I wanted to discuss today. one thing I do want to mention is we haven't had McTako since I've accepted a new position.
Yes.
I accepted a new job at the Emporia State University.
Congratulations.
Thank you. As the head coach of the disc golf team. And guys, I don't think, I've told a handful of people this, but I don't think people quite understand how big of a deal this is. Not for me, but for the sport.
Yes.
The fact that ESU decided, hey, disc golf's growing, I'm going to hire a professional disc golfer, a past world champion to be our head coach. We're going to pay this person to teach disc golf, to coach disc golf, to give scholarships.
That's awesome, by the way.
I have a lot of money in scholarships to give players per semester.
You hear that? Move to Emporia.
That's right.
Work with this dude.
That's right.
He's sick.
We're going to go to play events. You know, obviously our goal is to be competitive at the national championship. Just to qualify for it would be fantastic in this first year.
Yes.
We have next Wednesday, September 14th, we have a tryouts over at Jones Park. So if you're watching this in your local or you are an ESU student already, come on out. Let's do some tryouts. It's going to be a blast.
Do you have an idea of what people could maybe like get an idea for how the tryout's going to look? Is it going to be like...
Yeah. So at Jones, we're going to go and play. We're going to just do a 9-hole round. We're going to play 9 holes, and then we're also going to set up a distance, a putting, and an accuracy contest.
I like it.
I say contest is more of a skill shot. 3 different stations, that kind of thing, and just to kind of see where players are at, and it's going to be tough because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of people very interested, but I only have a small amount of spots available for the team. So I've only got I think it's four men for D1 and I think 4 players for D2 and a couple of them could be ladies. So awesome. I'm hoping to fill both teams, both spots, and it's going to be fun, dude. I'm stoked on it.
Dude.
ESU,
We're going to have to do another podcast, just talk about,
yeah, absolutely.
You know, the training that's coming up.
We absolutely will. And
off-season's coming up, Eric.
Yeah.
This is about to get real.
It's pretty surreal because, not only am I working with ESU, but I'm working, with the ADs at ESU, the athletic directors at ESU.
That's a big deal.
Other head coaches, there's monthly head coach meetings that I'm involved in with the head coach of the football team, basketball, baseball, volleyball, whatever it is. It's pretty cool to be in that room and just feel like I'm appreciated, or the sport is appreciated. The sport is let's elevate it, let's treat this real, let's do big things. Let's set a precedence that maybe other universities will start to see. We're trying to talk to the NCAA to make it recognized as an official sport.
Yeah.
It's huge. Let's get this, let's make this happen. So I'm stoked on it. So that's kind of my new focus is the ESU gig and the course design stuff. That's pretty much all my focus is right now.
Yeah, I love it.
But I love it. Couldn't be happier. You're going to see a lot more of us out playing here in the future.
Yes.
Playing rounds. We played one last night, which was a lot of fun. A little spoiler, it was a 10-year anniversary box.
Yeah.
Round over at Jones. Go pick one of those bad boys up.
Some great plastic in there.
Last thing I want to touch base on is dynamic doubles. An event that TaKo and I will be hosting on September 27th.
September 25th.
That's what I meant.
He was there.
I was close.
September 25th.
And it will be in Abilene, Kansas.
What's the player pack disc?
Course I designed. It is going to be a fluid EMac Truth.
He tried to whisper, but he whispered right into his microphone.
I did. I whispered right into the microphone.
So
fluid EMac
actually
Truth. Fluid EMac
hyphenated.
Truth. Fluid EMac Truth. These have only been released this year at the Dynamic Discs Open with me.
Yeah.
There's a limited amount of them. Get signed up. I'll have a link in this video's description to the disc golf scene page.
Yeah. Find
your partner. It's going to be a blast. We're doing 2 rounds over at Abilene, a course I designed. Different crazy kind of formats. I think we're doing all best shot on 1 round.
Yeah, second round's going to be all best shot. It's this event's going to be
or second round.
One of those rounds.
Okay. First
it
round,
says it on disc golf.
Usually we do first round best shot, and then the second round is the 6-6-6 format where it's 3 different formats that we typically will do, like a switch, an alternate shot, blah, 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 blah.
This particular format is meant for just anybody who plays to score.
Yes.
You know, so there's a couple mulligans involved. Again, check it out, disc golf scene. Yeah. It's called Dynamic Doubles, September 25th. Thank you,
It's going to be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it, getting back into doing some more of these events. Playing rounds with TaKo out on the course, doing fun, skill shot rounds or limited bags or When we're done
those.
here, we've got some discs. We're gonna chuck them on this hole right here and see if we can't bust an ace real quick, or lose discs, whichever
Check,
comes first.
check.
So I'm sure both will happen. Well, maybe not the ace, but we'll see.
I hope so.
Either way, big shout out to the city of Emporia, the PDGA, Doug Bierkus, Jackie Morris for hosting a phenomenal event, Keith Krause for
Gotta love me some Keith.
busting his
being
butt
Keith.
behind the scenes. Keith is the man. And anybody else that had absolutely anything to do with this World Championships, I personally believe it was a complete success.
Thank you.
City of Emporia, you guys are fantastic. Thanks for all you do. And yeah, that's really all I got. You got anything else?
I love you guys. Thank you.
Yep. Like, subscribe. See you next time.